These are 5 of the worst things that you can do with your finances. Number 1, not having an emergency fund. An emergency fund prevents you from needing to go into debt if you get a flat tire, which just happened to me recently, which sucks. It prevents you from needing to put that on a credit card and then just pay somebody 20 to 30% more interest per year on those things, meaning you're just paying more for everything if you don't have an emergency fund. In fact, over 50% of families making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck because they don't have an emergency fund. And 60% of people can't come up with $1,000 to cover an emergency expense. So if you can come up with an emergency fund, you'll be better off than 60% of people and better off than 50% of the families making over $100,000 a year that are still living paycheck to paycheck. Number 2, sports betting. Sports betting has become increasingly popular and it's one of the biggest industries financially, and that's horrible for your finances. People tend to think they're way better at this than they are, and in fact, over 95% of people are likely to lose money over time. They're essentially taking these stats and then rigging them in their favor so that they just are more likely to win all those different bets, and the more that people play, the more money that they make. And this is essentially how they can end up paying for all these huge commercials and getting these huge stars and just advertising everywhere. They're getting that money because they're rigging the odds in their favor. Number 3, expensive auto loans. I'm just going to start by explaining that having a paid off car is such a nice luxury, and not necessarily even a luxury car. I just drive an economy car, but by having it fully paid off, there is no stress about if I need to make the payment. It doesn't cut into my budget or anything. So having a paid off car is huge. But if you need to take out a car loan, don't get an expensive car loan. This is where people go wrong. They go get the nicest car they can, or they try to figure out how much can the dealer give me and how much can they finance for me, which just leads them to buying an expensive car that they can't really afford, and then they just stretch out the payments for, instead of being 4 years, now it's 5 or 6 years, and they just get stuck in these expensive cars that only go down in value, and they're paying huge interest rates for it. So if you can break free from that cycle of having this huge auto loan and then as soon as you pay it off, you take out another one, you will be much better off financially. Instead, once you pay off your car, if you instead start saving as if you have an auto loan, after a couple of years, you can actually upgrade your current car by trading it in, getting a newer one, and now you didn't have to take a loan for it, and you will have more money to get a nicer car. Even better, you could just invest some of that extra money or split some of it where some of it goes to new car and some of it goes to investments, and you really have yourself in a strong financial situation then. Number 4, carrying credit card debt. It's okay to use a credit card. I use one, I love that cash back, and I will take advantage of that for as long as I can. However, if you're carrying a credit card balance, you are just paying somebody 20 to 30% more for everything on an annual basis. Typically with these credit cards, they only have you pay roughly 2 to 3% per month, when in reality, their interest rate is between 20 and 30% per year. So really, if you're only just carrying a credit card balance, you're not making any progress on it or very little progress on it, and you just are paying them interest for your past mistakes. Number 5, make sure that in your budget, and you need to have a budget, and it's not that hard to do if you go to just Rocket Money or any other budgeting app or Every Dollar. There's tons of finance budgeting apps, so feel free to download one of them or use them online, or even use an Excel spreadsheet, which can be also really helpful. I personally like using an app so that it ends up tracking all my expenses for me and makes it really easy. In your budget, you need to make sure that you have a 401k match included in there, because you're just missing out on free money if you're not taking it. Most matches are between 50 and 100%, so if you take advantage of that, you're just getting an immediate rate of return of 50 to 100%, which is way better than you can find anywhere else. So get that rate of return, get that match. It's critically important for your future, and you will be way better off for that match. And if you let that money just sit there and grow, it's gonna compound and compound and compound, and you will be way better off for retirement than you think would even be possible. Thanks for watching, and follow for more finance tips.